How going? We just watched a video last night of a couple of beautiful ladies, and they were talking about the whole targeted individual thing, and like, they were sort of said that no one in Australia is really coming out and talking their story and sort of trying to voice it to the people. So we're here and sort of try to do a bit of a, like an interview style thing with my mate here, because he's definitely going through some stuff. So we just sort of how do you start, I guess? We've got to start from the start, but
yeah, it's a long story. Targeted individuals is a common thing around the world. A lot of people are noticing that they're being targeted and covertly under surveillance and being monitored and gang stalked and all these different terms.
voice to skull and all
voice to skull technology and hearing voices and showing classic symptoms of some sort of mental illness.
There's documented evidence of this, like it's all documented. Like the people that know, but we're trying to give awareness to other people because it's happening to people when they don't even know it.
Yeah, if you're not aware that these programs are happening and this technology exists, my account's going to sort of sound a little bit,
crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
It might seem like he's lost his mind, he's making things up sort of thing, where it's definitely not. I've witnessed it, I've first-hand seen it,
and like not just me, but there's so many people. I mean, I don't come from a professional background. I've sort of had a bit of a insecure or unstable sort of upbringing in life. But there are a lot of people who are
wrong choices, but I don't reckon go into this yet.
No, I'm not going to.
Maybe,
so a lot of people out there who are being targeted are credible, like they're professional people. A lot of them are whistleblowers. A lot of them doctors, lawyers, people, private investigators who have taken on work for people, people in the security industry who have sort of noticed what's going on and bailed out of it. True. There's been a lot of whistleblowers sort of trying to speak out about it and expose what's going on, but whether they're heard or
heard is sort of like because everyone knows, not everyone, but the people that know they do the shadow ban stuff and they do the stopping people seeing it. So the more people that talk about it, someone's going to get through and plant seeds somewhere, and it's going to hopefully we can stop it happening to others, sort of thing.
Exactly. So I began to notice my life sort of took a turn for the worst about when I was 30. It must have been about 2007. I noticed really strange things going on in my life, like a lot of my mates and associates dropped off and became distant and wouldn't tell me why, and sort of becoming isolated. And I think that was part of the initial part of the program, is to isolate the subject and the target. So they become isolated and lack sort of...
But he had no idea about the whole program, right?
No, I had no idea that it was a program. I just noticed that people were dropping off and I was losing all my support networks and no one would tell me why. So I was left only to make assumptions. And and when you're sort of socially isolated, you have to internalise everything, sort of thing, and you're living with this, what became a nightmare, mate, a living hell. So after that, people sort of dropped off, and then I started noticing gaslighting in the community and what they call street theatre. I think they call it street theatre or something.
That's what they call it.
This sounds like a ridiculous, like a bullshit story, but apparently, like there are people in the community who are coerced or paid, I don't know, to follow the target and create like a theatre on the street. Like, it was weird. One day I was on a tram and a bloke got on the tram. He was a really weird looking fella and he pretended to be crazy, but he was saying my life. Like he was shouting out on the train things that were really, really close to my life. And it was just bizarre. And in front of the whole carriage, it was really, really, it rattled me bad, It rattled me really hard. It's happened a few times, And in restaurants, people will sort of repeat the same phrases and really loud, or whistle. People will whistle a lot, and it was really. The first couple of times you think, it's coincidence, nothing. But when it's repeatedly happening and it's through repetition, I think it's part of the program.
Kids coming out like that.
I had kids on the street calling me a pedo, a rapist. Guys calling me a dog, fuck off dog, things like that, excuse my language, but that's the way it happened. So you start to become really intimidated.
It's random people, like, because there's a homeless guy one time, he was just a homeless dude. And,
yeah, you seen that?
like, and he just, like, everything was fine, and then he just come out with all this, like, stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
just
what?
like really.
I was blown away, because I was like, that's how sort of full on it gets.
And then Gembrook, those kids beeping the horn, and
like,
carrying on, like, yeah, man, it was like.
It was guaranteed to be, like, they were
100%.
doing it to provoke because it's happened so much, he's got this anxiety to it, it sensitises him to it, so like now every horn he hears, he thinks it's about him in a sense, which, like, it's not, and he knows they're not all.
I've explained why the horns though, because after 2007 everyone dropped off, I started getting overtly under surveillance, monitored by these strangers, by weirdos in cars, you know. They kept stalking me and following me, and I'm not stupid. I sort of know when I'm being tapped and when people are sort of up to no good and up to shenanigans, and I picked it many times, man. I wrote down their rego as well. I wrote down their number plates. It was the same number plates in one suburb and the same car and number plate in another suburb 20, 30 miles away. So, I mean, you know, you can't say it's a coincidence, man.
And like he'd do a run from him, he'd run away and hide and stuff like that, and they'd pinpoint him.
I lived 10 years of my life living in fear, thinking I was going to be murdered and knocked and put in a hole somewhere, because I was trying to work out who have I pissed off enough to get this much heat from random strangers on the street. It's really, really traumatic, man. It's really, really difficult to process. It is. I don't give a shit. Unless you've lived it, mate, it's really, really difficult experience, man. Like emotionally and psychologically. Physically, yeah, it's alright, but...
This is just one step of it, then he goes to jail. And
this is just the beginning, man. Like, and yes, this is like the induction. And I reckon the program's got phases, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and God knows what phase I'm in now, because it's still happening. But yeah, those were the first initial phases, isolating me, then letting me know that they're watching me. So you start to develop this paranoid ideation in your mind, thinking, what the fuck, is everyone against me? You know, and you start to become confused and full of fear. And when you're confused and fearful, your reasoning and your logic's gone. It's fight or flight, and you're constantly in this sort of like highly strung, highly vigilant, irritated sort of paranoid mindset, and that's a really awful way.
He's done a couple of things, like you say over the stuff with like the cop car and stuff.
Oh yeah, I didn't get to the sirens yet. Yeah, so anyway, the isolation and the surveillance, the monitoring, that's phase 2. Then phase 3, they started really, really strange. I'd be walking the street and they'd go past me, right? This is just random strangers in cars, and there's no one in front of them, there's no reason for them to beep or honk their horn, but as they're going past, beep, 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 really obvious sort of beep, and you look around and it sort of puts the frequency alone just puts a bit of tension into your body, right? And then after that happens again and again and again and again, right? And I'm not talking like 10 times a day, I'm talking maybe once a day, maybe once every 2 days, it's very obvious and very targeted towards you. So that happens over a period of 3 years, right? You become sensitised to the sound of that frequency. And then it wasn't only horns, it was also police sirens and ambulance sirens. What had happened is I'd be walking the street or I'd be at home, and I'd be looking at something on YouTube that was negative or something, and bam, let's get to the street. I'm walking along the street, the sirens would start behind me. They're coming up behind me, they'd start the sirens really loud, woo, woo, and this is with people around. And as they go past, and they'd turn them off, and their lights off after they passed me. And that happened again and again and again, repetitive, right? So you've got to imagine that. It's not just a one-time thing, because if it's a one-time thing, you'd think,
just try it.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're real...
It's hard to talk about.
It's hard to talk about,
It's really tense. I have got PTSD, and it causes me a lot of anxiety just rehashing it.
All the trauma involved in the whole story. It keeps
awful.
going like this, way more.
Yeah, so I got sensitised to that kind of noise and those kind of frequencies, and I think that was very intentional. So, look, 10% of the time I knew it was directly targeted at me. 90% of the time I was assuming or questioning whether it was.
Yeah,
And that's like,
doesn't know what way it's going.
it puts you in a perpetual state of, was that against me or was it not? And so you're totally fixated on the sound, wondering whether or not at that point is it directed at you, because it's such a common sort of noise, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
beeping.
Ambulances, like you're going to hear them because they have a job to do. Like they're going to do what they do, but
Exactly.
But the way it happens, like it's not random.
No, when it is targeted towards.
Yeah, when it is.
Like
when it is, like it is.
I can sort of tell when it is sort of random. Like sometimes I'll be walking down the street and I hear beep beep, and I'll turn around and there's a car. It's nearly hit another car. So obviously that car's beeping at that and nearly had an accident. So it's not directed towards me. You know what I mean? So
makes it really hard to decipher which is which.
Correct.
And puts him on the constant anxiety, vigilance of it. It's like, is it me or is it not? Usually, like it'll happen at a time when he's like thinking about trying to do it, like trying to pray or trying to do something. Yeah. And it's like, man, and it's almost like they can hear what he's sort of thinking.
And that's another thing, they can. And people will put think, oh, no, this is
it does it with me. I get voices in me too.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
This is the really hard part to sort of swallow. Whatever technology they got out there, and I know it exists because I'm experiencing it. They're listening to this conversation right now, and that sounds like really paranoid.
And tap into our frequencies. They tap into our frequency. They just need to know our DNA, our code. Everyone has a unique frequency, and they just need to know that. And that's where it is.
Who knows? I don't know the science behind how they're doing it.
Round 2, camera went dead, so we had to start again.
Yeah, so we're on about the technology, started to talk about their technology that they're using to do these operations or whatever. And they somehow have the technology now. There's different resources that'll sort of explain some of them, but I don't understand the science and all that stuff. But there are patents.
Most people that see this and get this by this far will probably know all this by now. Know more about it than we do.
Probably. So, well, I don't know too much about the technology. It's all pretty fancy, and I'm not scientifically minded, but I do know from my personal experience, and he does too, that they have the capabilities of tapping into your brainwaves and then transcribing that onto a computer and transcribing your thoughts so they can actually read your thoughts. They can interfere with your thoughts. They can inject thoughts into your mind. They can also voice to skull, that's called. And it's pretty horrific. I don't experience voice to skull.
Some people get it bad. Like I get it a lot. It's different things, different days. But like sometimes it's like all day. Like it's just constant. I have conversations with them.
It's nuts.
Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. Sometimes it's like helps, and sometimes it doesn't. And it's crazy.
Yeah, and so like we've been indoctrinated.
Some of it might be a spiritual thing, and some of it might be this technology.
But we've been indoctrinated to think that anyone who hears voices is schizophrenic or mentally unwell, but that's not the case. In Guantanamo Bay, I know that they tortured some of the detainees there, and they called it the voice of God, and they were injecting these voice-to-skull technology into their minds and pretending to be Allah and saying, tell them everything that they need to know. Which if you're a Muslim,
I can get back to your
side bugger all about it. So anyway, technology, this is real, this technology, so they're applying these technologies that the world basically, I think, 90% of the population, 80%, doesn't know that it exists?
It 90 at least, because not many people know about it.
A large percentage of the population.
That's what this is all about, trying to get it out there.
They seem to be unaware that this technology exists, but I'm telling you, it does. So anyway, so back to the story. It's been really difficult.
Tell me about because in jail you got you got harassed by the whole.
Oh yeah, in jail. Because I don't know, because of the smear campaign or whatever it is, the gossip or whatever, people are talking, shit about my life, and for some reason, I don't know, my last time in jail, the ones before that, weren't easy and comfortable, but they weren't nowhere near as bad as my last, sentence, and that was I got put in the psych ward. Long story short.
Well, the cause they put.
Yeah, everyone turned on me in the unit, and you imagine going to prison with the mindset that people might be thinking that I'm a rat or a pedophile. Now, you know what happens to people in jail, it's not nice, doesn't end well for people who have done those kind of offences, and I've never been charged for a sex offence, and I'm not a rat, I'm not a police informant, but I know what happens to people, I've seen what happens to people who sometimes do slip up like that. Anyway, but you go into jail with the mindset that these people, the inmates, are thinking that that's what you've done, which is what I believed. I went into jail, my last jail sentence, I was on edge, man, and I was shitting myself, and I'll be real about that, it was very scary.
And you had the whole unit turn on you?
Yeah, I had a whole unit at Ravenhall Prison in Melbourne turn on me, man, and it was really difficult, eh? And anyway, the security came, they locked me up in the psych ward.
They turned on him too? Like
the screws tortured me, man. The officers tortured me. When I went to the psych ward, firstly they were paying my medication. I was on methadone at the time, and they weren't giving it to me. They were giving me bullshit. They were giving me water. It wasn't methadone. And I was getting sick, so I started getting sick. Then they chucked me in the isolation cell in a psychiatric unit, and they didn't let me sleep for a good, at least 20 days, if not 30. I can't remember how many days it was, I lost count. But every time I'd fall asleep, there was cameras in the cell, every time I'd fall asleep, they'd bang on the door, or those other crims, the crims would start kicking off and yelling out, and waking me up. It was torture, and every 5 to 6 days,
traumatising.
Yeah, every week or so, the senior would come in and say, because they wanted me to take medication, and I said, I don't need it. I'm not crazy, mate. I know what's going on. You saw what happened in the unit. The unit turned on me. I'm not mad. They said, no, we want you on antipsychotics. I said, no, fuck off. I'm not taking your drugs. I don't want them. And they said, okay. And they shut the door and tortured me for another week. Senior would come in. Are you going to play the game? I said, no, put it off. I'm not taking your drugs. I don't need to be on medication. I'm not crazy. Bang, another week, bang. And by that time I was frazzled, man. I didn't know where I was. Honestly, don't know where I was. I remember the screw grabbing me from the cell one day and saying, he doesn't even know my name. He goes, what's my name? And he kept it, because I knew his name at the start, and I ended up forgetting his name. I didn't know what to call him. And I remember the boys who were billets, one day they were banging on the door. Anyway, when the doors opened for me to get my meal, I ended up losing it, and I went out in the cell. I was naked, and I said, give me some medication and a television now, please. And they came and they gave me meds, and the torture stopped. It stopped. They let me sleep. I took medication, they let me sleep. I must have slept for a good day. It was awful, mate. That was terrible, man.
It's like it all sort of rolls into one. Like it goes, all the stuff was happening out in the outside world, and then it rolled into his experience there. Like it was like this.
Yeah.
And then he gets out and it still keeps happening.
Yeah, so then I get out in 2019, which is that was 6 years ago I got out, and I noticed pretty much after the first month, I noticed severe ringing and piercing in my head. It's like
Tinnitus.
It's like tinnitus they call it, but it would shift in octave, like it would be at one pitch or frequency, and then it would either go higher or lower. It was very strange, and I remember going to a doctor about it, and he's going, well, I don't know, there's different forms of tinnitus. He'd go, but he goes, there's no treatment for it really, you want to try listening to certain...
Did you understand about the whole target individual by this stage, or not?
Yeah, I kind of did. I knew that those weapons were out there, and by this time, all the cell towers, 5G cell towers, had just been put up that year as well. Or the year before.
That's where it's coming from.
So, it's either coming from them or it's coming from something else. But it was definitely started in 2019.
Didn't come from satellites because they're fake.
Yeah, whatever. But wherever it's coming from, it's real.
Yeah.
And it's not, initially it was very, very hard to endure. It was so annoying. I couldn't sleep. And if you'd wake up during the night, it's all you'd hear, and you couldn't fall back asleep. It was, but I've learned to live with it now. And so many other people go through it, so it's one of those things, unless you go into experiencing it, it's weird. But it's like, the sound of it, it's like when a computer's booting up and it goes. Sometimes it does that. It's not like a constant frequency. It goes like a fax machine. You know when you ring a phone and a fax machine, it goes but a lot quicker, a lot faster. It's like it's a computer or something going on in your head. It's very, very strange. It's really, really bizarre. You know. So you try and how do I prove it though? Like, how do I prove it to a doctor or a psychologist or something, you know? It's like...
With his background, they're just going to go, mate, like, you're crazy.
You got no credibility, mate. You got one leg to stand
or
on.
they'll do what they're doing to me, which is like they've got me on mental health and they're jabbing me and it's messing me up. Like, I won't go into my story, that's for another day.
But that's one of their, that's what they're counting on, is for the public and anyone who you sort of reach out to, is to make the assumption that you're mentally unwell and that you're having some kind of strange delusion. Now, we listened to these ladies last night, and one of them was from Australia, and she represents Targeted Justice, and she was saying how not many Australians have spoken out yet. So yeah, I don't know if I'm the first or what. She was the first, but I don't know if she's had any other people speak out about it from Australia. But I'm going to do it, man, because it's happening to me. That I know, and God, I feel bad if it's happening to other people. I don't want it to happen to any more people, and that's probably the reason why I'm doing this, because I've learned to deal with this, and it's part of my life now.
But also, he's got to learn to heal because he's traumatised still too, like PTSD sort of thing from it.
So talking about it will help you heal. You know, it'll help. You know, sort of heal the wounds or whatever, or maybe, hopefully. So anyway, but I don't want it happening to other people, man. I don't want it happening to your kids if you've got kids here in Australia. I don't want it happening.
Imagine 50 years.
When they're 20 and when they're 25, I don't want it happening to no one, mate. It's torture and it's awful, man. You know, it's constant.
And it has to stop, though.
Yeah.
We have to come together and we have to hold them accountable like that.
Bloody oath. It's the decimation of your privacy, and you know, when your privacy's been absolutely decimated and you know it, because they're constantly, you know, in your head and they're constantly out there watching you and monitoring you. It's like, it's so bizarre and it's so unfathomable. You couldn't imagine that it was actually happening. It sounds like
sometimes you almost have to pinch yourself.
It sounds like fiction, you know.
Would they really do this? Like, you'd have to be pretty messed up to be doing something like this to someone. And like, I'm talking to like people that do the tooting even, like they know what they're doing. Like,
that's another thing. Like, for the people who are doing it, and I know you will see this, and I know you can hear this. Listen, I'm telling you straight. Like, whatever motives you've got, like, that's your business, right? But I know who I am, and I know where I've been and what I've done, and I'm not ashamed of my life, right?
Nothing to hide.
Yeah, exactly. And yous have had control over my life and over my mind for so long. But I want to let you know I forgive you, because you are making me stronger than I ever thought I could be. Because what I've endured, I'm telling you, if you had to go through it and you've never been through it, right, it's very, very difficult. There were many times where I seriously thought about topping myself,
That's what they want.
Giving up. Like, there were times...
They want you to either give up or to end up locked up in a psych ward.
Or hurt someone, or schizo. You know, and many people around the world have. In America, there's been a few cases. And it's not good, man. It doesn't end well. And so I'm not like that. I don't want to be a violent person. I don't want to hurt anyone. No way. That's not my nature. I have a bit of a temper, and this is why this program's been good for me, because it's helping me tame my bad temper and the bad ways I've resolved conflicts in the past. No good, mate. It's no good. And so that's sort of sanctifying me in a way. This kind of program. So in a way, I want to thank you. And I know you can hear me, so I want to thank you as well, and I do mean it. But at the same time, I really hate what you're doing. I really despise it. Hey, it's brutal, and I can't believe that you lack that much sympathy and compassion that you do this to another human being. Even regardless, even if I was a pedophile or a rat, I can't believe that you would subject another human soul to what you have put me through. God forbid you do it to other people, and God forbid you're doing it to anyone else in this community. Maybe that's why no one's spoken out against it, mate. No, but I want to thank you, and I do forgive you, but hey, I don't like what you've done, mate. It's a real shit go.
And you've got to realise that karma's a very real thing.
Karma is real.
When you pass away, you're going to feel what you've done to others. It's how it works, and you can believe it or not, but it's a very real thing. And I'd think about that when you keep doing this stuff, or maybe learn to stop.
shouldn't be using someone else's mind.
Do you really know what you're doing? Like,
Yeah. You're using someone else's brain, someone else's soul, in a matter of fact, because the soul is it's the emotional seat of the body.
that's what a lot of
The mind and the heart, all the emotions and all your mental faculties, that's your soul, man. And you guys are really tormenting mine and other people's souls around in America. It's definitely happening around the world. There's so many cases. Those poor souls have been tormented 24/7, 365, man. And to do that to another human being, to subject them to that kind of behaviour and that kind of treatment, it's abhorrent. And it needs to stop, man. It's really vile. And sometimes I even question, are you guys even human? Like, fair income, like, do you have any ounce of empathy? You must be sociopathic or psychopathic.
You just got to think too, you don't know who we are in the spiritual side of things.
It's crazy.
You don't know who we are. Like, you're playing with fire. Like,
Yeah, I think he's playing with things, they're playing with things.
you don't even understand. Like,
Yeah, I don't even understand it. But
this
I mean,
is a spiritual warfare that we're in, and
it kind of is, yeah.
it's going to come to a point, because you must be seeing everyone waking up. There's so many people waking up now, it's not funny. We just haven't come together yet because no one knows what exactly to do.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there's just going to come this spiritual moment where everyone just has this gut instinct to say, I need to be here at this time for some reason, and we're gonna end up banding together, and it's going to be a worldwide thing, and you're going to have nowhere to run. You're going to have nowhere to go. Like, I'd pick a team. Like, you're on the wrong team. I'd choose a side. I'd choose the love team. Love team wins, mate. Love wins.
Yeah. Oh, that technology. That's such a privilege to have access to that technology, and it carries a great responsibility. And unfortunately, there are people.
It could be used to heal people.
It could be used for such good, right, to help people. But unfortunately, a certain group of people have decided they're going to use this technology to really make people suffer. For whatever reason, they're justifying it in their minds or to the public or to others, I don't know, and I don't care. Even if it was true, a lot of the bullshit that comes out of their storylines or whatever, it's not, you can't justify subjecting another human soul to what you have put other people through, myself and many around the world. It's just not, it's not fair play, mate.
Not acceptable.
Not fair play. No, it's disgusting. But anyway, like in many respects, I'm sure many TIs would say this around the world, that these experiences, as hard and difficult as they are sanctifying people around the world, and they're pruning many people and bringing out the good and showing people how strong,
losing their fear, and they're getting empowered, because you're actually empowering them, because they're starting to realise and remember who they are.
Yeah.
And they're actually, like, you're trying to suppress the soul, but you're actually making it come through and shine brighter. And
that's it, man. That's it. And I don't like the word targeted individual, because it's like, it makes you look like a victim. I reckon that we're more subjects, you know, we're survivors, the people who are enduring this. I look at it as survivors and subjects, not so much targets. Although we are targeted, we are test subjects, I reckon. And this is some kind of experiment for this technology, or some, I don't know, I can't work out the objective, you know, of the program.
I think it's to suppress the soul, because they're trying to keep us down, not trying to, like,
whatever the motive of this
to stop us
program,
remembering we're ancient, like we're all ancient souls. So.
I don't know what the motive is or what the objective is of the program, whether it be a spiritual thing like Tom's saying, or whether it's a purely financial, fiscal thing, or whether it's a control thing for some kind of, for governments around the world to stop terror and
bankers.
Who are the real threat? Who's the real threat? Honestly, if you've got characters out there in the community, right, the government know about, and they're doing that to people and subjecting them to that. Who's the real threat? I'm not a threat. I'm not.
You can say the elite, but like, have you seen him in person? Do you know? Like, I believe that it's probably AI. He's actually doing all this, mind controlling people to do what they don't like. It's like
green technology. Green technology are four merging technologies that are big news at the moment, right? A lot of money, trillions of dollars are being invested into these four technologies. One is genetics, G, R is robotics, I is AI, artificial intelligence, and N is nanotechnology. Those four technologies, state of the art right now, are all merging together. and
autonomous intelligence.
yeah, so this is a big issue for humanity. We're at a crossroads, I reckon. We're dead set. Humanity's at a crossroads,
And we
especially
need,
after COVID. Right?
we have a job to do, and like this is like, and even you that have been doing the wrong, like you said, mate, stop doing it, learn your lessons, and come and join us.
Pull the plug, boot up, get out of it, and do the righty, man. That's what I recommend you do, mate. Because as he said, there is karma, mate. You can't escape the karma, the checks and balances of the universe, man. You can't run from it. It will catch you.
It's like some of it could be divine too in its own right. Like this whole thing, because some of it seems to be by design, like by. It's like I think it is happening to actually teach us to be stronger and all that sort of stuff.
I think there is an occult element to it. I think some of the ones at the top who are well informed and perhaps even orchestrating a lot of this stuff, I think they're heavily into the occult. It's a strong possibility. I don't know that for sure. I mean, I've got no evidence to say that.
The occult sort of like the occult's hidden knowledge, hidden wisdom.
When I say occult, I mean like satanic forces, like like people who are right into some dark stuff, like blood magic and witchcraft and blood rituals and things like that. But that's hearsay. That's just conjecture, right? I have no evidence to prove that, and it's just something that's it could be a spiritual thing as well. So
we've got to all start banding together and work out a game plan. We've got to get a script, because that's what they do. They follow their script and they all stick to it, and that's how they do this stuff to us. So if we sort of come up with a plan, a sort of a script that we can all follow, and as long as we all follow it and we all stick together, we got this. Like we're really facing nothing. We've been through worse. I won't go into all that, but we've been through a lot worse. And
and people stay quiet. If people know something and they keep quiet about it, it's no good, man. You can't. I've been. This is the first time I've spoken about this on a camera.
Yeah, he's been thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah,
but the inspiration from the women, the beautiful women.
Yeah, those ladies on Targeted Justice, man, inspired me, mate. And him to sort of say, all right,
for me to listen to something and actually agree with everything they say is very rare, because I see through the cracks, and I see a lot.
They want to help people. They want to help other people.
They're beautiful. It was so beautiful to see, and they have courage because they're coming out and talking about it, and it inspired him to. He's like, I want to do this, and I'm like, let's do it.
One of them was from Melbourne, Lady Helen. Helene, and I don't know, I forget the other lady's name, but they were really genuine sort of ladies.
If you're watching, we love you.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He's a legend.
Legends. But so that's about all that I need to say, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too?
Yeah.
So thank you, Targeted Justice.